Hi, Alex. We should now be live. It's our monthly meeting talking about real estate, the market, interest rates. First of all, Alex, how are you?
I'm good. Definitely feeling the brunt of all the work we've been doing recently. It's been so busy. It's been hard to even think. I would say at least 10 to 12 hour days the last 6, 7 business days in a row. So feeling it a little bit,
Yeah.
but hey, I'll take it. It's
I'll put it this way. There are a lot of people out of work at the moment, and we obviously have had an up and down journey the last few months.
mhm,
Yours has obviously been probably one of the industries that has absolutely boomed during these horrible times. Interest rates are so low that even when we were not allowed to sell, show houses, you guys were still doing refinances all over the shop. So you've had this for what? 4 or 5 months, just 24/7 working, I bet.
yeah. February is really when it started. That's when the 10-year and the 30-year mortgage-backed security started hitting all-time lows, and that's when it really started to hit. So even before we were put into our stay-at-home orders and all that, we were taking applications just left and right, just insane. And then it's really only accelerated from there, especially in the last 45, 60 days. Honestly feels like the last 2 weeks have been the most intense of this whole period, but it's been nonstop. I didn't really do a stay at home just because it was only me and my dad in the office here. It's like I had to come to work. I had to work 10, 12 hour days to make sure that we were getting all the clients everything that they wanted. So
Yeah.
um, definitely feel blessed. And, my heart does go out to those people that lost their jobs, got furloughed and all that. And I don't want to undermine that for 1 second.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, because obviously the what we've got in the industry right now is low interest rates and we've got low inventory.
Mhm.
So what happens with that is the fact that anyone who wants to buy a house has no options. So
Mhm.
you've got maybe 10 buyers trying to buy one house. So anything that we put on the market or any of our buyers trying to purchase something, there's like 10 offers on a place. It is absolutely crazy out there right now. And the funny thing is I'm shocked. I really thought after this lockdown, I thought there'd be more inventory on the market because I thought that there would be more people wanting to sell. But with interest rates being so low, I think have just refinanced and decided to stay. I bet there's a lot of people who are probably making changes to the house, for example. I think obviously schools, people normally move to change schools, but no one's going to school. So no one's not, what's the point of moving to go to the good school district? There's no
Right.
reason to. Normally people move because of jobs. You ain't moving because of a job at the moment. You're lucky if you've got one. You're not going to be suddenly going out trying to find another one if you've already got one. And
Exactly.
so there's so many different reasons why people sell, but people aren't doing it right now. So there's just no inventory, which is makes it for a very interesting times. So in regards to like interest rates and stuff, I know they're unbelievably low, but what does that mean to people? How low actually are they?
The lowest they've ever been, and just to put it into some perspective, I did pull up some numbers here for you, but it's my jaw dropped. I did a quote for someone this morning, and I had looked up this scenario probably in a week or two, and even since then, I couldn't believe it. But starting with VA, like I kind of always start with, if it's under 510,000, we're at 2.25%, no cost. I might even be able to give you a small credit towards some closing costs at that rate as well. If you, let's say you took 2.75%, I could probably pay all your closing costs, for example. So that's to me just nuts. If it's above 510,000, we're right around 2.5 over here, 2.75. Um, and then on FHA, the exact same thing, under 510, 225. Above $510,000 on the loan amount, it's going to be about 275, maybe 2.5. On the conventional, usually conventional is going to be a higher rate than VA. That's just normal and standard. But on a conventional with 5% down right now, you can get 2.625 with mortgage insurance, of course. The 2.625 is just that's just mind blowing to me. That's under 510,000. We even have the no mortgage insurance programs as low as 5% down. The rate over there or on that program starts at about 3.125, 3.25, right around there. And then if the loan amount's above 510,000, you're doing a conventional loan. So that's between 510 and 701. Rates start at 2.875 with as low as 5% down right now. On a condo, it might be closer to 3.125. And then jumbos, I just checked them out right now. We're at around 2.875, 3% if you've got 25% down. Yeah. So that's just nuts. And whenever I get these rates, these are usually based on good credit scores. I did mention like some down payment stuff, but definitely reach out to me if you want to ask about your specific scenario, because location, property type, whether it's condo, single family, manufactured home, credit score, all of that plays a role in it. These are obviously what I'm quoting is like your top tier type stuff. So, but it's still insane. I mean, on a VA, I've had clients in the 640 range that were still getting 2.875, 3% on a $510,000 type loan. So
I've got a client who wants to buy something around $1 million mark, maybe just over $1 million. They're only going to probably have, I don't know, something like 10% down, for example. Are there options out there for them to do like a second loan, that type of stuff? What can they do in that scenario? So
we have a 10% down true jumbo. The rate is a bit higher on it. I think last I checked, it was around 4.5 with no points. So if you paid a point, you can get it down to about 3.75. That's with no mortgage insurance as well. Or like you just mentioned, there is the option to putting down 10.1%, as we would say, taking the second lien out for another 10% to get you to that 20% threshold. And then you can lock yourself in at 3.25, right around there on the first, and the second, subject to whatever the second lien rates are, which are usually higher. I'm actually helping a client who purchased in January. They got a first and second. They only put down 10%, took a second out for 10%. In the 9 months since then, the home has gained so much appreciation that we're able to absorb it all, keep the LTV below 80%, and get rid of the second lien because theirs is at 5.75% interest only. Their first was at 3.8. We're going to lock them in at 3.25 on everything, and she's consolidated into the one loan.
Great. Now, I keep getting asked all the time, is now a good time to buy? Like literally, it's a question that I'm getting asked every single day. And we've talked about it before. And I remember you bringing up a lot of statistics proving that it is a good time to buy. The funny thing is, it looks like you were right in the short term, because I was convinced that after we came out of, obviously we're still in a semi-lockdown, but after we came out of like the bigger lockdown, that we would see an immediate drop. No, we've seen the exact opposite. House prices are going probably for the highest ever right now. It is that crazy. I still believe house prices at some point will drop. Historically, house prices have never continued rising. At some point, they have to drop. I know a lot of people stop getting their, the benefits and stuff at some point will stop. People will start getting help on their car loans and mortgages and credit card payments. People's businesses, unfortunately, are not going to open, which I've talked about how I think it's shocking, etc. in the past, and how I'm very angry on that and how that's all happening. But in regards to house prices, my belief is some point they have to drop. But interest rates are so low, I don't see how interest rates historically as well. Interest rates historically never stay the same. They go up and down. And if you look at somewhere like the 1980s, where house prices were unbelievably low, I think my mother bought a house for £20,000 in England, is now worth 200,000. So it's increased something like 10 times, right, since the 80s. Interest rates were at 14% when she bought that place. Wow. So there, you don't know what's going to happen with interest rates. They could go through the roof at the time that house prices drop, because normally they coincide. You normally don't get really low interest rates with really low prices. Exactly. You normally get them going one way together, the opposite basically. So for me, I'm like, look, if you buy a house now and you're going to be staying in it for a year, don't buy now. Because when you go to sell that house, there is a possibility that house prices dropped. But if you're going to be in it 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, then I think you'll probably never get an interest rate this low ever again. So in the long term, you're best buying now. If you work out the math, you'd be best buying now if you're going to keep the house long term, in my opinion. So it really depends on your scenario and what your future is. And that's why you've got to really look at your future, chat to a real estate agent, chat to your lender, work out the math on it, because people are saying right now is a good time to buy. And it just depends on your situation. Like I've got someone I know, and I said, okay, if you don't buy your forever home right now and you want to move in 3 to 4 years time, for example, and you want to get your better house, what's your financial situation going to be? Are you then going to have enough down payment to buy another home? And they said, yes. I said, okay, worst case scenarios, house prices drop. Don't sell your house. Keep that house at the unbelievably low interest rate, because historically it will rise again. And then just buy another house and rent that house out as an example, and you're going to be in a win-win. So there's so many different scenarios that people can run, but I don't necessarily, it's one of those that I believe house prices will drop, and it depends on your scenario if you're best waiting or buying now. You know, it just completely
100%.
depends.
100%. I think if you're a seller, if you're looking to sell anytime soon, you need to do it now, because you call James, he'll have it 10 offers in by 48 hours or 30 showings in the first weekend. And you will get top dollar. I really do believe that this is your top dollar time. If you are a current owner of a home, and like I had a client send me his application just for his personal home. I saw they had 4 other homes, and I did all the numbers for him, and I said, you need to refinance your investment properties too, especially if you plan to keep them, because you're just going to collect more rent that way. I'm knocking some of his investment properties down from 5% to 3.25%. He's going to pay a point, which is really nothing, but it's just insane. If you're a buyer and you're not sure, like you said, if you're a buyer, it's like, I just want to buy a house for the next year, maybe next 2 years, I would possibly wait. You know, as you mentioned, there's people that are out of work, there's people that are on the forbearances, the deferred payments. It's going to come to a head at some point. The government has stepped in and helped with some of the guidelines to help us bail out clients that are in forbearance and whatnot. But information dissemination is not always the best in our media, in our world, essentially. And so it's difficult for everybody to understand once they're in forbearance, how they can get out of it. I feel many calls about telling them, just call your servicer, tell them your situation. They might have a solution for you. If I'm fielding some calls like that, I know there's people out there that have no idea. And all I'm trying to say is that at some point, we're going to see inventory start to rise, some foreclosures or short sales start to happen. I think we're probably 6 months to 12 months away from that, just based on the forbearance periods. But at some point, it's going to come to a head. And the same thing is true, like interest rates are going to start to increase at some point in time. And that's just going to create less demand on the buyer side, which means homes will sit for longer and prices will slowly start to trickle down.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. The election is going to play a big part in all of this as well. So yeah, it's one of those, if you're going to pay all cash, for example, on a property, I would wait, because I think the only reason you'd buy now is the low interest rate. So if you're paying cash, wait, because there's a good chance that things will change. If you're going to get a loan, then I think now is a great time to buy. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're going to watch these back and see if we were right or wrong, and and see what happens with it. But yeah, it's. I mean, house prices. I'm speaking to people and they're saying, you know, I just want to get, I don't know, 460 for my house, and I'm like, we'll get you 460. Don't worry about that. And then when we were often getting like 500. You know, we had one the other day and they said, we'd like to get 1.2 for our house. And I was like, that's going to be tough, really tough to get 1.2 million for this house. There's only one comp that is anywhere near this. And we got 1.2. And I couldn't believe it. You know, it's like, we'll try our best, you know, I'm not sure. And I've got another one, and the house is, you know, on the market right now. And I've got unbelievable amount of offers. And the guy said to me, I want to get 500 for it. And I was like, it's not going to appraise at 500. We're going to have to be creative with the offers. And I've got all cash offers coming in, no appraisals, 500K, not an issue. It's just, is crazy right now. So yeah, it's one of those that it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and we'll connect again next month. And keep working hard.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, and I'll speak to you soon, Alex. And remember, if anyone wants to reach out to Alex or myself, we'll put all the information and stuff below on YouTube and Facebook.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, James. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.